So I like albums. Currents by Tame Impala, pretty unmatched musical listening experience in my opinion. It released in 2015 with most if not all of the production being done by Kevin Parker, that's including every instrument and also the vocals. This album is amazing in so many ways. Compared to Tame Impala's other projects, this took a completely different turn into psychedelic pop music. And there's so many creative musical ideas on display, great use of electronic sounds, synths, and punchy acoustic drums. The ways that songs can change and evolve as you're listening to it gives off some Daft Punk vibes, and that's especially evident in the opener, Let It Happen, which just keeps changing and rebuilding itself throughout the whole entire thing. Just as you think a song might be getting too repetitive or might be repeating a little bit, the production will switch up, a new instrument will be added, or the song will just end and go play to the next one, which is completely different. It's a very chill, mellow vibe, spacey vocals, but it's still somehow very exciting. This is definitely something you need to listen to with headphones on, because it will change the experience completely. Nangs on a first listen will literally make you levitate. So overall, Currents is a very unique album, a very amazing musical experience in my opinion. And in general, my 7th favourite album of all time. This may also be a good time to mention how this is a very, very personal list, and not me saying that they're the best albums of all time. However, as we get further up, you may see me try and argue that. Moving on. High by Sampha, specifically the deluxe version. If you don't know who Sampha is, look up your favourite rapper and also his name. His vocals are iconic, a deeply emotional and raw voice which transfers amazingly through these songs, switching from genres such as electronic to jazz inspired, whilst keeping a very alternative R&B feel throughout. Every song is an absolute treat to the ears, Spirit 2.0 featuring drumming from the amazing Yusef Days, Dancing Circles and the deluxe version. It's very engaging with great storytelling. My favourite song being Jonathan L. Seagull. The vocals are so good on it. The pacing is really good too, and when you listen to all of it at once, it feels more like a therapeutic experience. The synths and electronic sounds really bathe you with positivity, even if he sings about deeply resonant and emotional themes. Ethereal is a very good word to describe this, especially in the second half with a lot of soundscapes. Now the deluxe tracks are why this is on the list. The 2.0 versions of these songs expand everything amazing about the originals, and just add some more to it. A great little Sims feature, jazz or neo-soul instruments, and the extra song Re-Entry has one of my favourite beat drops of all time. Moving on. Could tell you were a chaotic concoction of progressive rock, jazz rock, and some sort of Latin fusion, sung by London's second best Steely Dan impersonator. If you like any of those words I just said, then you probably like the new sound just as much as I do. Every song's a banger, there are zero dead spots here. The opener blues feels like a chaotic overture for the end of the world, some amazing frantic drumming and some very manic narration. Now the running story of the album is set up during the third track, Holy Holy, which encapsulates everything amazing about the new sound. A dramatic, loud, a constantly evolving song, accompanied with very theatrical vocals that make the whole entire thing feel more like a musical than a rock album, which is a compliment. This album progresses to a very strong middle section and a very, very satisfying conclusion with The Magician. This album is top tier on too many levels. The detail in the instruments, the skill in which the 30+ studio musicians played at is insane. All of these cultural influences adds up to a really amazing album.
I hear you went down.
JPEG Mafia's latest studio album is my personal favourite rap album of all time. That might seem like a bold and unconventional choice, but for me it makes perfect sense. Intensely hardcore and experimental beats, with very good rapping and flow over it too. And throughout the whole entire thing, the production is amazing. Varying in each song, very unique. The way he uses distortion and clipping out audio gives a very grimy DIY feel to it, similar to Mad Villainy. It's explosive and it's high energy at points, but towards the end it gets quite introspective. For example, the final two songs. Starting with the acoustic heavy rock intro, ending with quite a slow track that feels more like a confession. The way the album just constantly switches up keeps it very engaging. Now my favourite tracks are hard to pick, but I think I really enjoy I'll Be Right There, The intro is awesome and the flow is really good. The instrumental has a very nice sample on it too. Either Off and On the Drugs is heavenly, and Sin Miedo, I never said that right, is an electronic dance bass heavy banger. There is so much stuff happening at all times during the songs. It's pretty impossible to get bored. Compared to his whole entire catalogue, this is JPEG Mafia's most polished feeling album. That may seem like a detriment, but no, bringing together his forward-thinking experimental style with a great level of production and songwriting works very well. Next.
On the inside.
I'm going to put 2 albums on the number 3 spot because I love both 3D Country and Getting Killed by Geese equally. That's not to say that these albums are similar at all, no. 3D Country combines post-punk with a lot of regular indie rock elements. Also a lot of country flavours throughout, evident by the title, mainly in Cameron Winter's vocal performance. The energy and feel of each track really change from song to song. The bombastic opener, Cameron really shouting at you, plus an insane distorted instrumental. Transitioning very quickly into the title track, that feels a lot more laid back, but keeping a tight groove throughout. In some spots, 3D Country feels like the culmination of the band, just kind of throwing out random ideas. Let's put in gospel backing vocals, let's put this harp sweep here. This persistent zaniness keeps every song so engaging and unique. My favourite songs change every single time I listen to it. And then you have 2025's Getting Killed, taking what was so amazing about 3D Country and sort of repurposing it, but in a more technically proficient way. If you were forced me to pick a better album, I'd say this one. By removing the country aesthetic and vibe, Geese have a lot more room to experiment and push all the boundaries possible. For example, the opener Trinidad, the second single for the album, played in 13/8 time, with a ticking clock type verses that detonate, quite literally, to a pretty unforgettable chorus. Not even going to try and describe all of it. Throughout the album, the lyrics give really dystopian themes, a lot about death unsurprisingly, but a lot of commentary about modern life, really capturing the apathetic mindset that we all have about the world. These 2 albums from the New York group are modern classics in all genres in my opinion. Very much a benchmark for modern music. Black Country New Road's second studio album, Ants From Up There, is my second favourite album of all time. The final album that Isaac Wood performed on, and listening to this, yeah, no wonder he didn't want to perform these songs in front of millions of people. I'm kidding, obviously. I could never understand why Isaac would step away from the band, but I do know that this album is one of the most emotionally intense, climatic, and vulnerable that I've heard. The narrative and lyrics of this thing is just so incredibly heartbreaking. Some of the best lines I've ever heard reside on here. The second verse of Concord, all of Good Will Hunting, and the ending of Basketball Shoes especially, one of the greatest rock songs ever recorded in my opinion. From what I can understand, the album narrates a slow and painful breakdown in a relationship as the female flies away to Berlin, which just reduces their relationship to phone calls and texts. A very modern and relatable story, I'm sure, for many. It hasn't really stopped growing in quality since the first time I heard it. Diving headfirst into lyrics, really listening to the detail in the musical arrangements, hearing the contribution of all the band members, not just Isaac, especially in the more instrumental dominated tracks like Holder and Mark's theme. I genuinely don't have the ability to describe the technical quality here. Every song is so rich and expansive, complementing the really emotional performance from Isaac really well. I also want to mention how the structure of the album complements the narrative, starting with the generally upbeat and energetic Chaos Space Marine, contrasting with Concord, a more slower and emotional track directly afterwards, making the first song feel like a fleeting spark of hope in a relationship, before the cracks begin to show. So, if you're a fan of music, if you're a fan of rock, art rock, hell, if you enjoy music of any substance, I beg you listen to this all the way through if you haven't already. It might not click with you fully for the first time like it didn't for me, but you will get something out of it. Before we move on to my number 1 favourite album of all time, I just want to get through a bunch of albums that are just below my all-time favourites, but are still absolutely amazing. Quickfire, Imaginal Disc, synth pop perfection. It's incredibly immersive. There's so many amazing melodies. The instrumentation is astounding from start to finish. It's just such a complete experience. My 3 favourites are Death and Romance, Love Is Everywhere, and Killing Time. Mad Villainy, MF Doom's best lyrical performance, Madlib's mind-blowing beats. Unsurprisingly adds up to a timeless classic for hip-hop. There's nothing more to be said about a record like this. My favourites are Meat Grinder, Fancy Clown, and Raid. Black Star, David Bowie's existential concept album about death. released only 2 days before he died. Even in his final stages, the music is so futuristic. The album blends rock with electronic music incredibly well. Absolutely amazing songwriting with only 7 songs, and so it's a very digestible length too. My favourites must be all of them. To Pimp a Butterfly, masterpiece on all accounts, figuratively and literally poetic. The instrumentals and beats are incredible. My favourite tracks are Wesley's Theory, The Black of the Berry, and all of the others equally. Because the Internet, an incredibly nostalgic album for me, one I've already talked about on this channel about 2 years ago. This album exists in its own universe, its own world. It comes with a whole entire screenplay, and the rapping's incredibly good, and so is the singing, and you can really tell we wanted to make this stand out, especially in the production. It has incredibly dark moments and incredibly euphoric moments. It's not for everyone, and I can definitely see why, but this holds so much value to me in general as one of the first rap albums I listened to in full. Plastic Beach by Gorillaz is my #1 favourite album of all time. I do actually have the Plastic Beach shirt, but I'm going with the Demon Days because it's in the wash. And my first taste of this, along like many others, was Rhinestone Eyes at the end of 2021, and I can say I did not like the song when I first heard it, but something just weird about it just kept drawing me back to it. And eventually I listened to the whole entire thing front to back. And that's not something I'd ever done before at that young age, and it changed my perspective of music forever. Plastic Beach, like all Gorillaz albums, is a story with a running narrative, repeated themes, and some sort of political message. And in this case, it's environmentalism, pollution, personified through an island of literal floating plastic that formed the album cover and where the album supposedly takes place. But you wouldn't need to know that, as the album works incredibly well as just a collection of really fun songs, spanning genres of pop and hip-hop, but very much keeping an electronic-based feel throughout. It achieves this through layered synths, bass, and drum machines. But that's not to say the album doesn't blend acoustics too. An orchestral intro fading right into Welcome to the World of the Plastic Beach, featuring the hypnotic brass ensemble. After that comes White Flag, the intro entirely performed by the National Orchestra of Arabic Music. This album is basically built on an extremely expansive group of collaborators all working with Damon to bring their own flavour to each song. There are more straightforward songs like On Melancholy Hill, but some absolutely insane ones like Glitter Freeze. Very disorientating ending. Some of my favourite songs of all time reside on here. My favourite song is Empire Ants, a blend of everything amazing about Plastic Beach and Gorillaz as a whole. It's a very relaxing, gentle, hazy first half, combining Damon's haunting vocals, a very lo-fi drum loop, a reverb-drenched acoustic guitar. And this goes on until the track builds and explodes into euphoric electronic dance instrumental, with vocals from Little Dragon. Now this contrast makes the song what it is. So basically this project means a lot to me, and many other people. By far the best Gorillaz album, and I'm so glad the new one, The Mountain Revisited, a similar vibe in production. I will be repeating this one till I die. So, it's been a year. I'm excited to be back. I just want to upload kind of random videos, not ones as long as this one, just to make me happy. Not anyone else, but, but give me video ideas. I'm kind of running out. Bye.